Sometimes we're asked to find the side or an angle of a triangle like this. And the first thing you'll notice is this isn't a right angled triangle and can't be made into a right angled triangle. So we can't use Pythagoras or right angled trigonometry. And in such cases we may be able to use either the sine rule or the cosine rule. Now in this video I'm going to show you how we use the sine rule. It's very important that when you start labelling, you start with the angle or side that you're trying to find. So in this case, it's an unknown side that we need to find. So that's what we'll start off with labelling A. And because it's an unknown length, it's lowercase a. The angle opposite is always uppercase. We'll now move on to this side. So it's a side, so it's lowercase b. And consequently the angle opposite is always the uppercase letter that you chose. And finally this length, we'll choose lowercase c for the length, and again the angle opposite is uppercase C. Now you have two versions of the sine rule to use, but you'll always choose the version where the unknown is on top. So in this case it's an unknown length, lowercase a, so we'll choose the bottom version. And now all we simply do is substitute our values in according to the triangle that we've labelled above. What we have now are three fractions, but we're always going to pick two of the three. Now you've always got to pick the one with the unknown that you're trying to find, but this second one has the most information, so it's the third one that we'll get rid of. And now we've got a simple equation that we need to solve, although this is usually the part of the sine rule that people have most difficulty with. I'm going to multiply both sides by sine 48 degrees, and if you're not sure why I'm doing this, then you need to look at one of my other videos that show you how to solve simple equations, because at this point this isn't about the sine rule, this is about solving a simple equation. The sine 48 cancel out on the left, and that leaves me with this equation on the right that I can just put into my calculator as is and evaluate, and this is the answer that I get. Got another example here. Again, this isn't a right angled triangle and can't be made into a right angled triangle, so we're going to have to use the sine or the cosine rule, and I'm looking at the sine rule of course in this video. This time we can see it's an unknown angle here, and so we always start by labelling the unknown, and because it's an angle it's a capital A, and the corresponding length opposite will be lowercase a. We'll then label the next side, makes sense to choose this, lowercase b, and the corresponding angle uppercase B, and finally this side C and the corresponding angle uppercase C. Now I've said we always want the unknown on top in the formula that we choose. So it's capital A, so we're going to choose the formula at the top because the unknown is at the top on the numerator, and we're simply going to substitute in the values into the formula dictated by the triangle that we've labelled. Now we need to pick two of these three terms. Obviously we've got to pick the one with the unknown, and we're going to pick the second term because it's got all of the information. So it's the third term that we're going to get rid of. Doesn't really help us at all. And so what we're left with now is an equation that we need to solve, and again I'm going to multiply both the left and the right by 23. And as I said before, if you're not sure why I'm doing this, then you need to look at one of my other videos. And this is just solving an equation. I've done this because that will cancel out, leaving me just with this equation here. And I need to use the inverse sine function on the calculator whenever I need to find an angle, which I'm going to show you here. And so I can simply put this into my calculator and evaluate it. And we're done. And again, if you weren't sure how I solve this final equation, then look at one of my other videos.